Imagine a country so unique it exists in all four corners of the world at once. A place where every new day on Earth officially begins. Now imagine that this same nation might not exist at all by the end of the century. This isn't a sci-fi movie. It's the incredible and heartbreaking story of Kiribati. In the vast blue of the Central Pacific Ocean, you'll find a scattered nation of 33 coral atolls and reef islands. Its name is pronounced Kiribati, and while it looks like paradise, it holds some of the world's most astonishing geographical records and faces one of its most terrifying threats. So, let us dive into the first unbelievable fact. Kiribati is the only country on Earth that lies in all four hemispheres. How is that even possible? Well, the equator slices right through its territory, splitting it between the northern and southern hemispheres. But here's the real mindbender. The 180th meridian, the line that generally defines where one day ends and another begins, also passes through its waters. This unique intersection places Kiribati in the eastern and western hemispheres simultaneously, making it a true crossroads of the planet. This leads us to our second fact. Kiribati is officially the first country to see the sunrise of a new day. Every single day. This isn't just a happy accident of geography. It was a deliberate decision. Before 1995, the international dateline zigzagged awkwardly through Kiribati's islands. This meant that on one side of the country, it could be Monday, while on the other, it was still Sunday. Imagine trying to run a government or a business like that. It was a logistical nightmare. So, in a bold move, the government decided to shift the dateline eastward, uniting the entire country under a single date. This change created a brand new time zone, GMT plus 14, the furthest forward on the planet. As a result, Kiribati's easternmost islands, specifically Caroline Island, now renamed Millennium Island, became the very first piece of land to welcome the year 2000. They literally sold tickets for the world's first sunrise of the new millennium. But this nation, defined by where time begins, is tragically running out of it. And this brings us to the devastating third fact. Kiribati is one of the lowest-lying countries on Earth. Most of its islands are thin strips of coral that barely rise more than 2 meters or about 6.5 feet above sea level. This makes them incredibly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. For the people of Kiribati, rising sea levels aren't a distant threat. They are a daily reality. This vulnerability is starkly visible in the nation's capital, South Tarawa, which is our fourth point of focus. Tarawa is one of the most densely populated places on the planet. Over 63,000 people, more than half of the country's entire population, live packed onto a narrow strip of land. This extreme population density puts immense pressure on already fragile resources. The island is so narrow in some places that you can stand in the middle and see the ocean on one side and the lagoon on the other. But now, the ocean is closing in. Which leads to fact number 5. Kiribati is losing its fresh water. The islands sit on top of what are called freshwater lenses, thin layers of fresh groundwater that float on top of the denser saltwater below. As sea levels rise, saltwater is pushing its way up from below and washing over the islands during high tides, a process called saltwater intrusion. This contaminates the wells that people depend on for drinking, cooking, and farming. Crops are failing, and safe drinking water is becoming dangerously scarce. The very foundation of life is being poisoned by the encroaching ocean. The sixth unbelievable fact is a desperate plan for survival. The government of Kiribati has accepted a grim reality. Their homeland may not be habitable for much longer. In a historic and heartbreaking move, they'd purchased a large plot of land about 20 square kilometers in Fiji, a more mountainous island nation over 2,000 kilometers away. This land isn't meant for an immediate move but as a potential refuge, a lifeboat for an entire nation. They call it their migration with dignity strategy. The hope is to train their people with skills that would make them welcome immigrants, rather than climate refugees. It's an unprecedented, forward-thinking plan born from the most dire of circumstances. Finally, our seventh fact is a reflection on what is being lost. The Kiribati people have a rich and unique culture, deeply connected to the ocean. They are some of the world's most skilled sailors and fishermen, with traditional knowledge passed down through generations. They have dances, songs, and stories that are tied to their specific islands. If Kiribati is submerged, it's not just land that will disappear. An entire culture, a unique way of life, and the human identity will be washed away forever. The world would lose a piece of its collective human heritage. The story of Kiribati is a powerful, urgent warning to the rest of the world. It's a geographic marvel and a cultural treasure, teetering on the brink of extinction. Its fate reminds us that the consequences of climate change aren't just about statistics and melting ice caps. They're about the loss of homes, the displacement of people, and the disappearance of entire nations. For Kiribati, the country where the day always begins, the dawn is no longer just a promise of a new day. It's a countdown to a final heartbreaking sunset. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as moving and important as we do, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world.